My family cut me off because I refused to donate my kidney to my addict brother. Update. Grief isn't always loud. Sometimes it just sits in the corner of your apartment like a ghost, watching you wash dishes or fold socks, waiting for the moment you think you've moved on. So it can remind you, they're gone. They chose to be gone. After I found the forged documents and confronted the truth, I thought I'd feel vindicated. I didn't. I felt hollow, burned out, and profoundly, bone-deep alone. But part of healing is learning to sit with the ache without rushing to fill it. That's what this part of my life became, a slow, silent reconstruction of self. I went back to therapy twice a week. My therapist, Dr. Helena, didn't tell me what I wanted to hear. She told me what I needed. You were raised in a system where love was transactional. Now you're trying to figure out how to exist without negotiating for your worth. She was right. So we worked on it. Not just the surface stuff. No more people-pleasing, no more fake holidays. But the core rot. Why did I equate compliance with love? Why did I feel guiltier for protecting myself than for being betrayed? Why was I still checking my parents' Facebook, like a child hoping for a digital hug? Every week, we peeled back another layer. I cried a lot. Got angry, too. I threw a coffee mug at my wall once, then immediately felt bad for the wall. But every tear, every journal page, every exhausted sigh was a brick in the foundation of my house. One I was finally building for me. Going no contact, for real. I started by changing my phone number. Deleted every family contact. Blocked them all on social media. It felt like cutting off my own limbs. But it was necessary. Julia and I had one last conversation before I did it. She respected my choice, but wasn't ready to go no contact herself. I'm still hoping they'll change, she said. I didn't try to talk her out of it. That's the thing about growing up in dysfunction. We all survive in different ways. She needed hope. I needed distance. So we made a pact. If things got bad, we'd be there for each other. No one else. Just us. I work in finance, mostly remote, spreadsheets and client meetings and performance forecasts. I used to be good at separating work from life. But grief doesn't respect boundaries. I missed deadlines. Zoned out during calls. Forgot to log hours. My manager, Kim, asked if I was okay. I gave the usual answer. Just tired. But one Friday, after I bombed a pitch, she asked again, only softer this time. Seriously, what's going on, Rachel? I don't know why, but I told her the truth. Not all of it. Just enough. Her eyes went wide. Then she said something that nearly broke me. That's not just family drama. That's trauma. She gave me 2 weeks of paid leave. I spent most of it walking. Not even with a destination. Just moving. Just proving to myself I still could. It came out of nowhere. A Facebook message from an unrecognizable account. No profile picture. Just a string of random numbers in the name. It was Jason. You happy now? I'm F asterisk 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 ing dying. Mom's crying herself to sleep every night. But I guess that doesn't matter as long as you're safe and cozy in your perfect little apartment. I stared at the message for 10 minutes. My hands were shaking. Then he sent another. You know what I realized? You were never scared of losing me. You were scared you'd lose control. Control? The irony was blinding. This from a man who had stolen, lied, threatened, and gaslit his way through every relationship in his life. Who once pushed Julia into a doorframe because she asked him to take a shower. Who forged my name to get what he wanted. He had the nerve to call me controlling? I almost responded. Almost. But I didn't. Instead, I took a screenshot, blocked the account, and emailed it to myself with the subject line. Proof that leaving was the right call. That night, I wrote a letter to Jason. Not to send. Just to bleed it out. You say I abandoned you. But you abandoned all of us long before I said no. You chose the needle, the pipe, the lie. Over and over. I was your sister, not your savior. You weren't looking for a kidney. You were looking for permission to keep destroying yourself. It ended with, I hope one day you heal, but not at my expense. Not again. A few weeks after that message, I realized something had shifted. I was sleeping through the night. My appetite was back. Music didn't make me cry anymore. I could walk into Target and not flinch when I saw a family shopping for Christmas together. I wasn't healed. Not fully, but I was healing. And that felt like a miracle. In May, Julia called me crying. She'd finally confronted our parents, told them she was sick of the lies, the favoritism, the way they use us like chess pieces. My mom's response? You're just trying to be like Rachel. As if that was an insult. But Julia didn't fold. She told them she was done making herself small just to fit into their warped version of family. That night, she came to stay with me. We stayed up eating chips and watching stupid reality shows. For the first time in years, we laughed like kids again. She looked at me and said, "You were right to leave. I'm sorry it took me this long to get it." On June 10th, I wrote this in my journal. I thought losing them would be the worst thing that ever happened to me. But losing myself trying to keep them, that was the real tragedy. And now I'm not lost anymore. Where I am now, I've started volunteering at a crisis center for people estranged from family. I reconnected with old friends I lost while drowning in the chaos. I sleep with the windows open. Something I never did before. It feels like trust. I still get waves of grief. I still have days where I wonder, what if I'd said yes? But then I remember what I know now. They didn't want my kidney. They wanted my compliance. And when they couldn't have it, they chose exile. But I chose freedom. Time has this way of softening memories. Even the bad ones, not erasing them, just dulling the edges. But some things, they stay sharp, no matter how far you try to run. This chapter starts with a phone call. One I always knew might come, but hoped I wouldn't get. It was Julia again. Her voice was flat, not crying, not panicked, just empty. Jason's gone. I didn't say anything at first, just sat on the edge of my bed, staring at the wall. She added, overdose. Last night, fentanyl. It was fast. Still, I said nothing. My first emotion wasn't grief. It was relief. Then came shame. Then confusion. And then finally, grief. Because no matter what he'd done, the lies, the manipulation, the chaos, Jason was still my brother. My broken, reckless, unreachable brother. And now he was a ghost. The funeral. Julia went. I didn't. My parents didn't want me there anyway. Not that they reached out. I only knew the date because Julia texted it. She told me the service was surreal. That our mom gave a long, trembling speech about how bright Jason's light was and how deeply he loved his sisters. Julia almost laughed, almost, but she bit her tongue and sat through it. She said our dad didn't cry once, just stood stiffly beside the casket, shaking hands like it was a business reception. And then, after all the guests left, Julia overheard our mom whisper, "This wouldn't have happened if Rachel had helped." Like I was still the villain, even after death. 3 days after the funeral, an envelope showed up in my mailbox. No return address. Inside was a single handwritten page. It was from Jason, dated 6 months before he died. Ratch, I don't know if you'll ever read this. I don't know if I'll be around when you do. I was angry. So angry. At you. At everyone. But mostly at myself. You were right not to help me. I wouldn't have stayed clean. I never stayed clean. I've destroyed every chance anyone ever gave me. You were the only one who told me the truth, even if it hurt. I hated you for that, but now I kind of admire it. Don't come back. Don't let them pull you back in. You got out. Stay out. I'm sorry I wasn't the brother you deserved. Jason, I sat in my kitchen and sobbed like a child. Not because it changed everything, but because for the first time in his entire life, he told the truth. A week later, Julia and I took a long walk. We ended up at a park we hadn't been to since we were kids, the one with the ugly duck statues and the chipped swing set. She told me that after the funeral, our mom tried to hug her, whispering, "At least I still have one good daughter." Julia pulled away. "I'm not your replacement," she said. Then she left. That was the last time she spoke to either of them. We sat on a bench for hours, just breathing. No heavy talk. No deep metaphors. Just silence. And in that silence, something mended Not between us, but inside each of us. We weren't survivors anymore. We were free. 2 months later, I received one final package. A box of Jason's things, his phone, a worn hoodie, some journals. Sent by my mother, no note enclosed. I opened it once, scanned the contents, then quietly closed the lid. That weekend, Julia and I went to a friend's cabin in the woods. No signal, no noise, just pine trees and cold air and firelight. We brought the box. We burned it, page by page, piece by piece. Not out of hatred, out of release, out of mercy. The final goodbye. I wrote my last letter to my parents, knowing I'd never send it. I don't hate you, but I don't trust you. I deserve more than silence when I needed support. I deserve more than being reduced to a backup plan for a son you couldn't save. I gave you chances. I showed you my hurt. You chose to punish me for it. This is not a door left ajar. This is a locked gate. Do not contact me again. Goodbye. Rachel, today. Julia and I share a small apartment now. Not forever, just for now. It's messy and loud in ours. I'm back at work. Stronger, sharper. My manager tells me I'm a different person. I think she means it as a compliment. I still go to therapy, but now we talk about the future. I've started dating again. Slowly, carefully, without shame. And some nights, when the wind is loud and my thoughts try to drag me back to the past, I remind myself, I did not betray my family. I escaped them. And there's a difference. Final journal entry. Closure isn't about forgiveness. It's about clarity. Jason is gone. My parents are gone in every way that matters. But I'm still here. I made it out. I told the truth. I said no. And that will always be enough.